Hey, what's up, guys? So I was requested to do a fodder guide or a 6-star guide. So I'm going to tell you guys how I do them, and I'll kind of give some tips for like what you should be doing, like depending on what stage of the game you're in. So let's just do it in order here. So let's just say you just cleared 10-10. You don't have your first 6-star yet. So what do you do from there to make your 6-star? How do you farm your fodder? Well, you get a lot of free fodder from the adventure quest, going through the stages. So, like, you get quite a few 4-star dogs. I forget, like, exactly what level they are. And as you're progressing through the story, I would recommend getting 3 nodes in the forest, at least in the beginning, so you can grow dogs. That way you can use those to promote those 4-star dogs. So you can get your first 6-star really quickly. That's how I would recommend doing that. And then from there, I wouldn't recommend just trying to go into unrecorded history just to clear as fast as you can. If you're at this stage of the game, generally there's always a side story going. That's where you should go next. And you should work on your 6 stars there, even if it's your first 6-star. I know the Bologna side story was going on when I started playing the game, and I used Cez, and I was in there with Cez, and I 6-starred him in the side story. So that's how I personally did it. It's a lot easier to do it now because of how much stuff they give you starting out the game. But what I could mostly recommend is just do the side story, do probably the normal stage, and if you have to run 2 of your DPS units at level 50, and then 2 fodder, go ahead and do that. That's fine. Once you get that 6-star, it'll be easier for you to run 3 fodder. So that's kind of how you progress into that there. And then once you have your first 6-star, then that's when you start working on your second. It's going to be a lot easier to work on your second because you have your first one already. It's going to do more damage. You can consistently run 3 fodder. So at that stage, I would just recommend continue farming through side story until you get whatever you need out of the shop or whatever rep missions done or whatever in that circumstance. And then probably by the time you're done doing that, you'll have your next 6-star ready, if not pretty close. In the meantime, clear your abysses, do your labyrinth, farm your runes for whatever you're trying to awaken, and then from this point, like, your team is like, you have 2 6-stars, right? I would recommend doing your main farmer first and then maybe a secondary DPS second. And then that way you could take both of those into unrecorded history. I would go show you in the menu here, but like whenever I go navigate through the map, for some reason my recording stops. I don't know why it does that, it just does. So I kind of just have to explain it without actually going to the menu. But I can go over here, I guess. So you would go in here in unrecorded history. Probably at that point you have your first 2 6-stars. And then this is where, like, make sure you 3-star every mission as you go along, and then pretty much clear as far as you can using your team. And then if you're lucky, some of those epic catalysts in those first few stages, like fighter medals, IDs, the dragon heart things, or mercs meds, like, you get all those relatively quick. Blazing souls would be the next one up. So if you need any of those, you should be able to farm those stages pretty easily using 2 DPS. Depending on element or whatever you have. So you can farm those stages, but as you're farming those stages for those catalysts that you need to 5-star and 6-star awaken your units, and that's when you start bringing 2-star fodder with you. And you level all those up to 30. And then, or you level them up to 20. And then you can promote them whatever fodder drops as you're farming. Does that make sense? That's kind of how I would recommend going through that first portion. And then focus on, like, you have those first 2 DPS, and then from that point I would focus on a core team, probably for whatever hunt you're aiming for, either Wyvern or whatever, because most Wyvern teams you could probably bring into raid and clear a good portion of it. Like, you might not be able to kill Queen with the same team you use to kill Wyvern, but you should be able to kill, like, probably not Vera either, but you should be able to kill the Spider and Carcanus, depending on what healing gear you have or what healers you have, if you have immunity or not. Everybody can get Montmorency, so I would recommend just building Montmorency. She's good for morale, she's good for Wyvern, she's good for raid. So if I was to say, like, do this, in my opinion, I would say get your first 2 6-star DPS. If you don't have an Angelica or if you don't have a Tamarin, then I would 6-star Montmorency next. and start working on her specialty change. As you're farming those water runes, depending on what DPS you have, you can either farm stage 9 or stage 10 for her specialty change and get a ton of dogs. And if you actually absolutely have to, you can run your healer there, Montmorency there with your 2 DPS and then a dog in there and be able to farm while leveling fodder, while working on Montmorency specialty change. You know, so that's kind of how I would recommend doing that. And then from there, just whatever you have left in your team, 6-star that next. And then you should be able to progress a little bit farther through world at this point, or unrecorded history. So that's how I would recommend going through that. Once you're mid-game and you have your full team set up, that's when you really want to start farming catalysts and 6-star awakening everything. So you'll go to your steeple, you know, like, let's go to mine, for example. So, like, I could say without going in here, I need Horn of Desires right now to get 2 6-star awakens. I need a 6-star awaken Sigrid, and I need a 6-star awaken, I need to do him. I already have the hearts. But see, like in here, I don't have the epic light runes right now. So in the same case where I was saying go farm Montmorency specialty change, like for me personally right now, I could go farm these epic light runes that I need here and knock out his final awaken while I'm leveling a dog at the same time. So that's how I would manage my time getting this done. But I need Horn of Desires for Sigrid and Euphine here. I don't use Euphine, but it's just kind of triggering me that I have all these things here and they're not 6-star awoken. I want a 6-star awaken all of them. I'll probably even 6-star awaken Cartusia, but he needs the same stuff as Purg and actually use Purg right now. So eventually I'll just 6-star awaken him too. Maybe he'll get another buff. I might even 6-star awaken Terranor Guard too. But at that stage, that's kind of what you're doing. You should know based on your roster what stage you can bring fodder with and how many fodder you can bring. So like if I was to go farm Horn of Desires right now, I would go to World Stage 8. I could farm it with 2 fodders, but it's just faster and safer clears if I just do 1. So like in places where I would level 1 unit at a time or 1 fodder at a time would be those later stage worlds, and I would either bring a yellow dog or a blue dog. And that's where I would focus leveling those while farming that catalyst there. Lower stages, like maybe like stage 4-1 to like maybe 6 or so, I can solo like 4-1, but it takes a while. So just to increase the speed, I'll bring 2 DPS and 2 fodder. That being either 2 2-stars or 2 dogs, you know, a yellow and a blue dog. And then progressively going up, you know, that's how I'll do those stages there. And then into the later world stages, I'll bring probably 2 DPS and a healer, or 3 DPS for faster clears and a dog in those stages. So hopefully that makes sense. And I kind of gave you a little timeline on progression there. Sorry I don't have a little PowerPoint with pictures and stuff here, but you know, I'm working with what I can. So another place you could really farm is like, this is a little bit more towards mid-late game, but like whenever there's a challenge up and there's a decent artifact in here, like I'll do a run now, but me personally, like I'll come in here, come in the hell difficulty. This is the same case for side stories as well. Like if you're trying to knock out the side story quick and you want to just run hell difficulty, like say for the like the collab event, for example, where hell difficulty was more efficient for your stamina to get the currency that you needed, then you can run it like this as well in there. So you can have, you know, a single fodder that's getting all the experience. And some lower stages, depending on how your friends are, you can run 4 fodder at the same time. I personally never do that. It's just what it is. I don't want to rely on someone else's units to do stuff that I know my units can do. Even though like I got a pretty stacked friends list at this point. So that's just kind of how I feel about like the whole fodder thing. That's how I go about doing it. Once you get into the later stages of the game, that's when you really start stacking up stigma because you're farming wyvern. So like I actually make 6 stars different now than what I've explained this entire time. Like I hardly ever run 2-star fodders anymore. Because I farm so much, my friendship points stack up really high. So I just do friendship summons whenever I need fodder to promote dogs, and I'll just go spam summon dogs in the in the forest because I don't grow them much anymore. sometimes I will, like if I'm farming a lower stage because I need something specific for a specialty change quest, or I need that specific catalyst, then yeah, I'll bring in 2-star fodder and level them up in there. Like it's just efficient to do it. Just because I don't do it as much now doesn't mean I don't do it at all. So hopefully I kind of gave someone, like hopefully this helps somebody. Like I really wish I could show more. I would go through and actually go through the different world stages, but I don't know why my recording app like kind of crashes. It just stops recording and then nothing saves whenever I go into the map and I'm navigating through different menus. I don't know why it's doing that, it just does. So I can't go into those menus and change around or something. Maybe I'll look for a different recording app that's more reliable. But this is pretty much my 2-star guide, my fodder guide, making 6-star guide, whatever you want to call it. But I wish I could be a little bit more clear and, you know, do like pictures and shit. But I got what I got. Will you die? And I understand, like, some people may not be at the point where they can farm this with fodder, and that's fine. You could do a stage below this and do the same thing, and it just really depends on where you are in the game. But yeah, so I would do this here, for example, and then I could even run this same exact team, like, in here as well. So, like, I need these epic light runes anyway, so this is probably something I'll knock out today. So I could just get my Purge 6-star awakened. I can just use this team, why not? If it'll go. This boss is kind of annoying to fight with a fodder, because if it dies, and that's less hits you have on her to break her armor down, which means you pretty much have to bring a healer. Depending on what units you're using. Defense breaks don't really do anything to her until she's lower HP. Or until she gets hit a couple times, I should say. So yeah, I don't know why I'm not talking anymore, but just look at what you need and determine what you want to do. Like, that's the best way I can describe doing it. Like, just try and bring fodder anywhere you can. Like, don't be lazy and be like, well, I can clear it faster if I just use a full DPS team. I don't want to bring fodder because it takes longer. Well, then you're not going to have any 6-stars, man. It's not how you play the game. Best advice I can give, just bring them wherever you can. I think I've done this in a previous video a long time ago. It's like right when I started YouTube, so a lot of people probably haven't seen it. The video is called Being Efficient in Epic 7. It's like one of my first uploads. I kind of talked about fodder in that video as well. So if you want to go check out that video after this one, then by all means, I probably covered a lot of stuff in here that I said in that video. But yeah, see, that was relatively quick clear. And there I have a max star dog now, just from doing 2 of the challenge runs and then 1 spirit run. But this is a little bit when you get later game, obviously. Like earlier game, it's going to take more time. You just got to be patient. And the only time you should really be focusing on making a 6-star, to where like, oh, you're keeping an eye on your fodder and everything, that's when you're making your first few. After you make your first few, they just kind of come. And they disappear over time. I have 30 right now. I can probably make another one, to be honest. I think I have enough. But I'm waiting for the refund. I don't know who I'm going to 6-star next. Like, I'm to the point where, like, I don't know what I need, and a lot of them aren't even being used anyways. See, like, not being used, not being used. Half naked, you know? Naked. Naked. Who I want to not be naked anymore. I want to use her. You know, and then I have random scattered pieces where, like, if I need to use the unit, I just swap the piece over. But I have, what's this, like 5 of them I don't even use, 6 of them. I stripped my soul to gear up something. SS Bologna, I think. Who I love using. She's awesome. Her banner's still alive. If you don't have her, get her. She's actually a pretty good farmer. But I think that's going to be the video. There's not much else I can talk about. Just try and, you know, bring fodder everywhere. I'll say it again before the video ends. Bring fodder everywhere you can. Don't be lazy. Alright. If you like this video, like it. If I helped you, let me know. If I didn't help you, let me know. If I was unclear on anything, let me know. If you have any specific questions, let me know. It's not giving me notifications for every single comment anymore. So sometimes I might miss your comment. But on newer videos, like I'll browse through them usually, unless I'm busy. So I'll get back to you on this one because I specifically am like, hey, yo, if you need help, let me know. So I'll periodically come and check the comments and see if anybody needs any help. Just, you guys have a good one, and peace out. Later.